Alright, my fighter just hit level 4. Time to bump up that strength.
You can take a feat.
What kind of feats are there?
Oh man, there are a lot of them.
In today's video, we're going to discuss 5 feats for the fighter in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Let's get started. In our feats today, we are leaving some of the more popular ones off, like Great Weapon Master, Polearm Master, and Sentinel. These are well known in the D&D community as top tier feats, so we're going to pick some of the ones that you may not have thought about picking.
The first feat I've selected is Savage Attacker. It reads, once per turn, when you roll damage for a melee attack, you can re-roll the weapon's damage and use either total. So this is only on melee attacks, but since we're talking about fighters, most of the time it's what people go.
Yeah,
it's a standard melee fight. And it lets you re-roll and actually see them, where some other feats or skills is like, re-roll them, but then you have to be stuck with the one you selected.
Yeah. This one's really fun, especially if you're kicking it with that great sword. You got 2d6. You roll a 6 and a 1. Re-roll it. I mean, if you get another 1, you get another 1.
Yeah,
that's
matter.
okay. So you might get 12, might get 7. Who knows?
Still good.
Next, we have the Charger feat. When you use your action to dash, you can use a bonus action to make one melee weapon attack or to shove a creature. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line immediately before taking this bonus action, you either gain a +5 to the attack's damage, if you choose to make a melee attack and hit, or push the target up to 10 feet away if you choose to shove them and succeed.
Pretty good.
This is great for when the enemy is a lot farther away than your regular speed can manage.
Right.
So if you dash, you still can take the attack.
I like that. I also like, because, it's always good to try to utilize everything you can in your turn. Your action, if you can use a bonus action, have a reaction later. And, as a fighter, it's one good one that you can use to be able to do something. And, most of the time you're going to be going straight into attacking anyway. They always appear right in front of you.
Yep. And as normally, if you take the dash action, unless you have that bonus, you're burning most of your turn.
Right.
So you can still do something.
The next feat I selected, it was Crossbow Expert. We talked about being a close fighter, but there are times when you can get a little range or you kind of switch it up.
Yeah.
This one says you ignore the loading properties of a crossbow, which you are proficient. That is just an added to it. There is more. It doesn't like you have to meet all these to do it. You can just be like, well, I don't really use a crossbow, but being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose a disadvantage when your attack rolls.
Yeah.
So that's good. And you can use the attack action and actions with one-handed weapons. You can use a bonus action to attack with a hand crossbow you are holding.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefit from this feat. If you're using just a regular short bow or long bow, that attacking within 5 feet helps a lot. And even if you're a spellcaster doing a spell attack, you can benefit from this feat.
Because you can actually do that with a combination of Eldritch Knight if you went into that part of the fighter.
Yep, exactly. The next feat we have for your fighter, Mage Slayer. You have practiced techniques useful in melee combat against spellcasters, gaining the following benefits. When a creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature. When you damage a creature that is concentrating on a spell, that creature has disadvantage on the saving throw it makes to maintain its concentration. And you have advantage on saving throws against spells cast by creatures within 5 feet of you. This is something that obviously isn't going to be helpful every single time, but when those situations happen, you'll wish you had it.
I actually really like that because, it's almost the battle of brute strength versus magic. And it's like, hey, here's the one advantage that goes over to give you this being, within 5 feet to make a reaction to a melee attack of them doing it. And giving that disadvantage to concentration can be real helpful.
Oh,
if
absolutely,
they're holding on to something great, you're like, hey, we need to end this. I'm going to try to give it a shot.
Yeah, with this feat, say you're up against a wizard and he keeps melting your friends with fireball, you use your charger feat to get up to him, attack him, And then, while you're up in his face, he casts a spell.
Man.
Bam, you have another attack against him. So you can whittle him down. Yep.
Build him.
You can get him down.
The fifth and final one we have here is Marshal Adapt. It's one of my favorites. You learn 2 more maneuvers of your choice from among those available in the Battle Mastery archetype in the fighter class. If the maneuver you use requires your target to make a saving throw to resist the maneuver's effect, the saving throw DC equals now 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your dex or strength modifier. You gain 1 superiority dice, which is a D6. That can be different based if you take the Battle Mastery solely, but this is what this one does. To use with them. You regain your expended die when you finish a short or long rest. So you can take the Battle Mastery and get the 4, I believe, that you get from the beginning, and then do this to get additional ones. Or you can just say, hey, I'm taking something completely different as an archetype and go back and want this part of it too.
Yep.
So I really like that because I thought about, well, I want to keep this, but now I can switch into the Eldritch Knight that we spoke about, switch back into this, and still take both.
You can do that. If you do Variant Human, you can get this at level 1 to get yourself ahead if you do take the Battle Master archetype. Or if you do something like the Arcane Archer, you can take this whenever you have a feat available, and then you can do trip attack, various different things with that.
Yeah, because there's already a selection just in here. It has Command Strike, Disarm, Direct Strike. I'm just naming a few of them. Trip attack, as you said, push, parry. There's a whole list of them that you can see on there to go in and just be like, I really like these 2. I'm just going to take that.
Yep. Especially if you don't want to dedicate your character to the Battle Master,
right.
You can just grab it and just use a few aspects of it.
To me personally, I think it's the best. But
that's okay.
You know, now that I know I can switch them into it more, I will probably do that a lot, even if I'm not taking the fighter. But in this one, you are.
So those are 5 feats for the fighter that we think would benefit greatly. Like we said, we didn't include some of the popular ones, but those are definitely ones that you should probably take.
If there are other feats that you use for your fighter that you think we would enjoy or that you think would be more beneficial, leave them down in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe to always get more D&D content. And as always, keep the dice rolling.